Hello traders, Rich here, and here's a quick but detailed update on US500. As usual, if you guys like video analysis, let me know in the comments or simply leave a like. So let's get started. As we clearly see, US500 has been overall bearish for a while, making lower lows and lower highs trading inside this falling broadening wedge. However, we are currently approaching a very strong support zone. That's why we'll be looking for the bulls to take over, just like we did around 3.94k. So we'll be looking for this short-term correction. Of course, it will be a correction inside this bearish movement from a medium-term perspective, inside this long-term bearish movement. So we'll be looking for buy setups unless the zone is broken downward, then a movement lower inside the falling broadening wedge would be expected till around 3.4k. But for now, let's take it step by step, right? Up around the support, so we'll be looking for the bulls to take over. Of course, we'll be looking, we don't buy blindly, because no matter how strong a support or a demand or whatever rejection is, it can still be broken downward. So for the bulls to take over, first of all, we've got this minor high, which we can see better from a 30 time frame. We have a double bottom pattern, so the bulls will take over by breaking above it from a short-term perspective, and then we need to see a break above this trend line for the bulls to take over from a medium term perspective, and then a movement the upper bound to the resistance zone, which was previously a support, would be expected. So we'll be expecting this movement after the breakout. Of course, for those trade on margin, the stop loss will be below the previous swing low, and we target a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio to have an edge over the market from a risk management perspective. Meanwhile, and until the bulls take over by breaking above this high and the trend line, of course, we might also form a new swing high here before breaking it upward. We would be overall bearish, and we can still like stock inside this range before breaking it upward, or even if we break this support, then further bearish movement till the next support zone would be expected. Before we continue, I want to tell you about Tickmill. Tickmill is established in 2014 and is one of the leading Forex and CFD brokers with registered users from more than 200 different countries. Tickmill is a no-dealing desk and ECN broker regulated in many countries like the UK, Cyprus, and recently in South Africa. With Tickmill, you can trade a wide range of instruments, starting from Forex to indices, commodities, and even crypto. Most importantly, with very low spreads and trading fees. If you don't have an account yet, make sure to create one using my referral link in the description below to benefit from 5% discounts on your trading fees. And let's continue. As we clearly see, AUDUSD has been overall bearish for a while, making lower lows and lower highs. However, it's currently approaching a very strong demand zone as we had an aggressive movement upward from here. That's why we'll be looking for buy stops on lower time frames unless this demand zone is broken downward. In this case, it would no longer be holding the price up and further bearish movement would be expected. But for now, let's take it step by step, right? Around the demand zone, so we are looking for buy setups. If we zoom into daily time frame, we can see that we are also bearish from a medium term perspective, trading inside this falling brown channel. We are also around the lower bound, which I consider a non-horizontal support or an oversold area. So it is adding more confluence or confirmation to our setup that we are looking for buy setups. Of course, as we trade higher, we've got a resistance here, so we'll be looking for trend following sell setups around this area. But for now, we're around the demand and the lower brown trend line, so we'll be looking for the bulls to take over because we are clearly now also bearish from a short-term perspective. So we are bearish from a long-term perspective, from a medium-term perspective, and now, of course, from a short-term perspective from inside this red channel. So for the bulls to take over here, I'll be waiting for a new swing high to form around the trend line and then buy on break upward. Of course, we might also have like many like scenarios like this one, for example, or even break it up. In this case, we'll be looking for buy stops on the retest. But for now, as per the current market conditions, I'll be waiting for this to happen, for example, and this would be my trigger after a momentum candle close above this area, and this high hasn't formed yet, so we'll be waiting first for a new major high to form around this area and then breaking it upward also invalidating this trend line in red, which is for now holding the price down, showing us the overall bearish movement. When the buy is activated, the stop loss would be below the previous swing low, and we target a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio to have an edge over the market from a risk management perspective, which would be around the upper resistance zone as I showed you from daily time frame. Meanwhile, and until the buy is activated, AUDUSD would be bearish and can sit trade lower before the bulls take over or even break it downward, and then we'll be expecting further bearish movement. That is for AUDUSD. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one.